morning. We are here for the purpose of learning more about our employer support providers, the resources that are available to students or adults with various abilities. And also, we're going to hear more about employment opportunities. And so we are super excited to have multiple agencies from our community. We also have Vocational Rehabilitation that will present and give information, and a few employers to talk about summer employment or other opportunities. Today, we are gathered together. We have special school district students that are transitioning into the world of work or even looking for summer employment. And we also have our OIPE, which is Office of Inclusive Postsecondary Education Program students. And that we will talk a little bit more about our program near the end. I am Miss Maya. I'm Maya Harris. I am the coordinator of vocational experience with the OIPE program. This is my first returning semester in this position. I formerly had this position in 2016, from 2016 to 2020, and then stepped away to start my own business, which is MJ's Coaching Corner, to help individuals of various abilities get employment. And now I'm back. And I'm super excited to host our first virtual expo today. We have an agenda. We hope that you received your agenda. But today in our morning session, it will look like this. So from now until about 10 o'clock, we will hear from our employment support providers. These are partners of our program that assist us with helping our students transition and helping other high school students transition into the world of work or with other community or independent resources. So we will have that first session. We will also do question and answer. So when you registered, you actually submitted a few questions you would like for us to ask. We did receive those questions. And if you have additional questions as we go along, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat. We will do our question and answer session for our employment support providers. And then after that, we will take a brief break and return hearing from our representative from Vocational Rehabilitation. Her name is Chris Robinson, and she will present on the resources that they provide. Immediately after that are our employers. So everything about all those summer jobs, that's what's next around the 10:15 to 11:15 hour. And then you have Q&A for those employers. And we will wrap up with information about our program and to answer questions that you may have for our program. Sounds good?
Sound good.
All right. Well, let's get started. We have a few of our employment support providers that are here. We are going to start with one of our main supports from St. Louis ARC, and that is Mr. J.R. We have a couple of more people coming in. I want to make sure that they're not employment support providers. Also, this is my opportunity to ask for grace. This is our first time doing this virtual, and we have a lot of moving parts. And so there might be a lot of cross-talking and tech support, but we're all here together and we're going to make it through. So without further ado, I am going to try to spotlight Mr. J.R. Yeah, that didn't work. When you might have to spotlight him.
I think I already spotlight JR.
It's already spotlight. Okay, perfect. Well, JR, let's hand it over to you.
Awesome. I don't have shared ability, so I'll just kind of talk. That's okay. So hello all, I am J.R. Johnson. I am the Assistant Director of Transition Services for the St. Louis ARC. The St. Louis ARC is an organization that supports individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities throughout their lifespan. At the ARC, we have a lot of different departments and programs that kind of work on all sorts of parts of a person's life. So with me, I work with transitions. My department is called the Next Department, and I focus in on what is that next step in your life. So we can talk about employment, post-secondary education, getting involved in the community, making connections, relationships, but also the ARC offers employment supports, which is going to be that more direct supports. Somebody that is going to be out looking for that job with you, getting out into the community. They'll do some discovery and exploration with you to figure out if you are truly competitive employed ready, and then what steps would need to happen after that. But then we also do the fun stuff with leisure and those kind of things. The exciting news for the St. Louis ARC is it's our 75-year anniversary this year. So we're doing a lot of celebrations for that. So please keep on the lookout of our social media and all that, of all the celebrations we're doing. But I will say, I'm going to do a shout out to Chris Robertson. We worked way long ago together when I was in employment. So please stay back for her presentation and really pay attention to that, because when it comes to employment services, VR is super important, and making sure that you're following with your counselors and that, and so all that. So that's going to be a very important conversation to listen to, because that's what's going to get you connected with people like the ARC.
Sharing ability there.
I tried to stay in 3 minutes.
Oh, well, you're good. I would say you have sharing ability now. For everyone to have sharing ability, that is 1 to 3 days now. So thank you, JR. Next, we will go to Danielle from Starkloff.
Good morning, everyone. This won't be that long. So I am with Starkloff Disability Institute. I am the Dream Big coordinator, so I oversee and do everything Dream Big. For those who don't know about Starkloff Disability Institute, we were founded in 2003 by Max and Colleen Starkloff and their good friend David Newberger, who are disability pioneers. We are known as a workplace disability advisors. We work with candidates to help them get competitive jobs. And then we also work with employee companies to make sure they're welcoming to our candidates, our people with disabilities. This is the Dream Big team for this summer. So there's myself, our lead teacher, Julie Sally, our my practicum student, Joseph, another practicum student, Lynn, our director, Anna Zielinski, Katie Fields, our outreach coordinator, college outreach coordinator, and Karen Houston, our deaf and hard of hearing coordinator. The really cool thing about Starkloff Disability Institute is 80 to 90% of our staff are people with disabilities, so we understand where everyone comes from. So the Dream Big program is focused on career exploration for students with disabilities who are interested to attend some sort of post-secondary education. It could be any kind of post-secondary education. Don't think just because you want a 2-year, 4-year degree, it could be anything, a certificate program or a apprenticeship or anything you want, or a trade tech school. So Dream Big helps middle school to the age of 21, but we're typically known for our high school programming. We're a year-round programming. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people know that we are really known for our summer camps. Our Dream Big Career Club is during the academic year. We have career exploration events every 3rd Wednesday of the month during the academic year. Peer events every peer events are every third month during the academic year, and the career club is every 1st Wednesday of the month. We also don't forget about parents. Parents are always anxious about the transition themselves. So the 4th Wednesday of every month, we have transition topics for our parents, and they come to collaborate and share trials and success. Camps. So I'm really here to promote is our camps. We have 4 different sessions, but for the audience, it's really 3 different sessions because one is for middle school. Basically, what we do is we do career exploration. We work with major corporations, and you learn what it takes to work there. You get to interact with employees. Hopefully, these employees are also people with disabilities, so you learn how they got to where they are today. You get a tour. You also get to do really cool hands-on experiments. We have distract DNA from strawberries. We have done coding simulations. We've done cooking simulations. We learn about the tracks at Metrolink and things like that. We also designed a campaign for Crocs, and we've done yeah, so you get to do real hands-on experience and learn what it really takes to work in those major corporations. Here is what our expectations are. Camp is run from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. This year will be hosted at the St. Louis Community College Forest Park. There is a cost to camp, $500, but tuition is available. We understand that tuition can be a hardship. So if it's a hardship, we understand we try to find outside sources. If not, we can definitely provide some. COVID is basically, we just encourage everyone to have be fully vaccinated, but we don't really check. We just encourage it because of our population. Expectations is that morning and afternoon sessions, everyone attend, everyone be punctual, and have your materials basically. So your workbook that we provide, have questions for the panels and be engaged. Here are some of the companies we interact with: Boeing, Bayer, Clayco, Riot Games, St. Louis Community College Culinary Arts School, also the Workforce Innovation at St. Louis Community College. So yeah. And if you have any questions, there we go.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Lindsay.
Good morning, everyone. Let me see if I can get my slides to share here. You can see that okay. I can't see anyone, but we're going to move right along. So my name is Lindsay Watson. I'm the Employment Services Director at Easterseals Midwest. At Easterseals, we support individuals with developmental disabilities and autism for services to enhance their lives. Today, I'm here to talk specifically about employment services, where we focus on finding meaningful employment in your field of interest. We're located in St. Louis in the Westport Plaza area, but we do have some smaller office spaces in St. Peters and South County as well. So we're able to kind of meet you across the community. We offer employment services across a continuum. So wherever you are in your journey and whatever you're looking for, we have a variety of different options that may work for what you're looking for at that time. To talk a little bit about career planning, discovery, and exploration. This is where a lot of individuals transitioning out of school and figuring out what happens next get started, where they might be looking in their field of interest. Some things that we really focus on are transportation planning. That can be a challenge in St. Louis. Our transportation's not that great, but we really want to look at things that you might be interested in and see them in action, right? Making sure it makes sense for what you're looking for, and also make sure that you have skills to be successful in that as well. This is funded through Vocational Rehabilitation, or DMH. So I want to echo what the gentleman from St. Louis ARC said, that when you hear Chris speak from Voc Rehab in a little while, pay attention. It can be a little confusing, but sometimes Voc Rehab, or most times Voc Rehab, is going to be your entry point to get started with a provider like Easterseals ARC, etc. And we support individuals in job development as well, where we'll help you build your resume, get ready for those interviews, actually search and see what labor market is, meaning what is the general pay in a position that you're looking for? Does that match what you're going to need and things like that? We'll help you put in those applications and interviews and figure out if you're going to be disclosing your disability. Would you need any accommodations? And again, really make sure that you're set up for success in that right position. We offer coaching and retention. So when you get started in that new job, making sure you get through your onboarding, all of that fun paperwork, making sure you know who to go to for help, making sure you have the tools to be set up for success. And we say natural supports, which coworkers are going to help you with which tasks if you have questions as you're learning things. This is typically also started funding with vocational rehabilitation. And then over time, as you get more comfortable in your job, we do what we call fading, stepping back, and we'll be able to give you some long-term check-in support just for as things come up, as you need assistance, but not there kind of on an everyday basis. If you're not sure where you're going to go, or maybe you might need to polish up some skills, we can offer some pre-employment training. We focus on building your skills through volunteerism so that you have the ability to be successful when you move into that paid job. So we focus on things like building speed and stamina or accuracy, accepting feedback or asking for clarity or self-advocacy on the job, and managing your time. And the last service I'll talk about is our Link social skills for the workplace. And so this is specifically some training for individuals with autism. It's to think about those unwritten rules in the workplace and making sure that we know how to ask for clarity, how to work as a team, how to manage conflict or stress or change, which are all just normal parts of the workspace. There are some one-on-one sessions that happen with our autism consultant, but the vast majority of this service is the 8-week group classes where we're going through some of the content I mentioned, really practicing some of those skills. And then as those classes wrap up, we move into job development and help you get that position. The best way, if you're interested in learning more about us or seeking services, would be either calling our main line or shooting an email to our referrals address. And we're able to give you a contact back and get any of your questions answered or next steps started.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Do we have anyone from Paraquad or Rise here? Okay. We are going to move on with our Q&A for our employment support providers, and I'm actually going to turn this over to Bob.
All right, howdy everybody, howdy. Okay, we have some questions that were input both by the Zoom registrants and our students in class. I'll ask it and then we'll go one by one. And figure take as much time as you need. All right. So we'll start with UJR. Is there a wait list for your support services?
So it really depends on which program you're looking at, and what kind of supports you're going to want. For my program, that would work with those employment skills, vocational skills would be launch, and it really is based on the county that you're in. So currently right now, if you are in St. Louis County, we do have a wait list for the launch program. But for St. Louis City, St. Charles, and Jefferson County, we do not have a wait list for the launch program. For the employment services, on that one, I am not 100% positive where they're at on those referrals. So that would be the best thing to do, is to still connect with them to make sure that they're still available spots.
Lindsay? We're all taking turns answering the same question. So is there a wait list for your support
Oh,
services?
apologies. I thought we were popcorning questions. So for my service lines, it also depends a bit, much like St. Louis ARC just described. It kind of depends on what service you're looking for. We're expanding our team at this time. So if you're looking for employment services, so any of that help finding the job or moving forward, the wait list is becoming more and more brief. So a couple of weeks. While if you're looking for pre-employment training, there's a bit longer of a wait list for that. So that's averaging a handful of months at the moment. And we currently don't have a wait list for our link services.
Thank you. And Danielle?
Nope, we do not have any wait lists at all. We do for camp, there's 20 spots available, and for our academic year, there's no spots really. Come as you want. So no wait list.
Okay, thank you. And for the rest of the questions, we will do a popcorn. So, what next steps should I take if I'm interested in getting connected to your organization? So with JRs.
So in the chat, I did drop a link that they could connect with. We do have a central intake questionnaire that you can fill out. It takes about 5 minutes and it gets you connected with April Nixon for our team. That would be the best way to connect with us if you're looking for information, just because there's so many different areas at the St. Louis ARC, and there might be something that you might not know that you were looking for. So she would kind of guide through to look at exactly what you're looking for and make sure you're getting connected with each one of the departments that fits your needs.
Thank you. Lindsay, how do you personalize your services?
So our approach is getting everybody started with a formal career planning process. So what I mean by that is we want to take the time to get to know you and your personalized interests, and then take time to get to know the jobs. I think about sometimes we maybe have an idea in our mind of what a position might look like. And then when we get out and see it in action, like I love animals, but working with animals would be pretty loud, smelly, kind of intense, a little bit more heavy duty. And I don't think puppy cuddler is, on the docket for a position. So if I'm thinking about that, maybe I go see it in action. I get to learn about those positions and make sure that I know what I'm signing up for, so I'm set up for success. So we really take time up front to invest time getting to know you, getting to know those jobs, making sure your skills align and you know what you're signing up for as you move into applying for positions.
And Danielle, how do you help ensure participants are successful?
Can you please repeat that?
How do you help ensure participants are successful?
So how we make sure our participants are successful in our programs, especially for career camp, we do an interview. So once you guys apply and talk to us, for camp, first we talk to parents and make sure that they're appropriate for camp, or if they're old enough, young adults, we talk to them and make sure they're appropriate for camp. And then we go through an interview process where we get to know you more, and there's no right or wrong answer. So we just talk things through, make sure you're appropriate for camp. And 99% of the time, just be from interacting with them first and then doing the application and also going through the interview process. There's hardly any ever times that we make sure that that students are not appropriate for camp. And if for some reason we think after the interview process we don't think you're appropriate for camp, we do tell our individuals about all the other services in the St. Louis area and where they're at that may be more appropriate for them. And that doesn't mean they can't come back next year. It just may mean they need a little bit of growth before they come back.
And this question being for all three of you. is how do you handle feedback and complaints? Lindsay, we'll start with you.
Sure. I think it's depending. My mind's going a couple different ways. If you're working in the working world and have an issue on the job, we would provide supports in that regard to go in and hear what's going on, hear from you, hear what's going on from coworkers, support you in connecting with human resources, whatever is needed. If that's an employer complaint, if that's feedback from your supervisor, maybe helping process where that comes from and what we can do to improve. If the question was meant more about if you had feedback or a complaint about a staff person you were working with, whenever we get started with services, everyone goes through a really fun packet of information that you get to sign and learn all about our policies. And a piece of that is a grievance procedure. And so we make sure that everyone is armed to say if something is going awry with your employment specialist or not going well, ensuring you have the supervisor's phone number, you have my number as the program director and other contacts so we can hear what's going on and ensure that you have the support and assistance you need.
Oh, sorry. And then Danielle, same question for you. Is how do you handle feedback and complaints?
So basically what we do is I really encourage students and parents to come to me first, and we try to work those complaints out in situations. For some reason, if that still doesn't work out, what we do is I would bring in my program's director for that reason, if that situation still didn't work out. But if it was like during camp and like maybe another staff member or something like the lead teacher or someone who's supporting that individual, first I would just get both sides of that, then probably work trying to figure out what side is what, then maybe have a group session with both of everyone, and then again, try to work that out. If need to bring in the parent, we would bring in the parent for everything as well. And then if everything didn't still was arise and I needed to bring in my management, my director of the program, of not the program, but of all of our programs, I would bring that in. If need be, we would bring in other people, upper management if we needed to, if anyone had any problems or concerns with our programming.
Thank you. And Jamar?
Yep, mine is very similar to the two that spoke before me. We are very relationship focused and empowerment. So we really want to encourage the young adults and their families to connect with our staff, even if they want to connect with the supervisor. I know with our program, we provide that contact information so they can reach out to those supervisors if they have a concern. If they don't feel comfortable with that, we do have a option for them to go to our website, and we do have a third party that collects that complaints and discrepancies if they need to, if they want to keep anonymous with those things. So that is on our webpage at St. Louis ARC. So it just really depends on them, but we do encourage that relationship building empowerment to speak up with what you're discomfort with and see what we can do to support you and help you with that.
That is all of our scripted questions. So now we will open up the floor to live Q&A from our audience members. Okay, we have one question is how do you use activities to improve student growth? Whichever one of you wants to answer that.
Can you repeat that question one more time?
How do you use activities to measure growth?
When in some of our services, as you're getting started and when you're in that career exploration phase of the job search, we do some skills assessments. And so going out into a community business and trying out a job or a task in the job. And really, we have a tool that we use to measure your success, right? So making sure you're aligned with the expectations of the timeline of what a supervisor. So if it's bagging groceries, there's a kind of an expected pace that, you know, any local grocer would expect you to be if that was your position. So we're able to look at that against kind of the standard in an industry and measure your growth. And sometimes the first time you learn a task, it can be overwhelming or a little confusing. So we might go back and do that same assessment a second time to say, hey, did it go better once you knew up from down in that situation? Were you able to grow and be ready for that next?
To our external participants, if you have a question for our employer support providers, our community resource providers, we can also use the chat, as Anna mentioned, to type your question. Do we have any from our audience? We checking in, I think, let's see if they have questions.
I can talk about how Starkloff Disability Institute's Dream Big program during camp explains their growth. So during camp, we have our students basically do a presentation at the end of what they learned and what they feel like what they learned and have a goal set and things like that. So we see the growth of that as well. And also during the whole week of camp, when we see just them interacting with other individuals with disabilities and being around disability pride and history and everything, we really see our students grow and chat and just from that little week alone and just from interacting and being prideful of everything and just being more outgoing and shy because sometimes it takes a little bit, but we see extreme growth basically. So we measure growth on each individual of how they interact with from how they started to the very end.
We have a question about industries or ask the question.
So I was gonna ask, like, what type of jobs are available at your guys' organization?
At the organization or that they offer?
At the organization.
So the question was, what type of jobs are offered at your organization? We'll have, Lindsay.
Sure, I can kick it off. We have a host of different positions from entry level in our IT department through porter positions, through direct support roles within Easterseals. In terms of the services we provide, though, most of our services are helping find partnerships outside of Easterseals with other community partners. And that's really individualized depending on what you're looking for. So we have a buffet of people that we've partnered with over the years that we can always revisit contact. But really, we're going to look at each individual we're working alongside to figure out what you're personally interested in, what businesses you want to connect with, and help make those connections.
So yeah, the St. Louis ARC is very similar to that. So internal, we have a lot of different open positions. So if you're looking at employment for the St. Louis ARC, we have different roles from direct support. So you can look at different areas. We do have seasonal positions for some of our seasonal programs, and then we do have part-time positions. I know that I do have an UMSL alum that works for me right now. That has came. So we do have internal positions for if you're looking for a job, yes, we want to find that job out in the community. We want to make those partnerships and find that competitive employment out in the community. Really, employment really likes to do the discovery and exploration where they want to discover about you and what you like and what you enjoy. And that's what we want to do. And when we do that exploration where we're trying to see where you're at with your skill levels. That's what we want to practice. We want to take that discovery, and then we want to go out and explore that and see if that's what you like. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. So if someone is interested in finding employment in the education field, how would you support that person? I think since you kind of got to that, but yeah, what supports do you have for a person that's interested in the world of education?
So again, with that, it's going to be really individualized. And so when you say you want to look in education, are you talking about working at a school? Are we talking about after you have a 4-year degree? So it's really going to be individualized. And one of our strategy, again, is going to be getting to know you and what you're interested in and what kind of roles are available, looking at those opportunities within your community and making sure that we can find a good match depending on what your qualifications are and what's available. So we'd be doing some exploration to learn a bit more information and then try to find that individualized match.
Okay.
So two more questions, two last questions. What other supports, if you didn't mention this, we talked about employment, but what other supports does your agency provide? JR, how about you go first?
Can you repeat that one more time? I'm having trouble hearing you.
If your agency provides other supports outside of employment.
Yes, so we do provide quite a bit. We have a leisure department that focuses on your leisure time. So they have cooking classes and they do United Sports, if that is softball and bowling. They have a walking club that they do. But yeah, there's a wide range of leisure services they have. Depending on what other kind of supports you're feeling like you're needing. We do have other areas from community engagement. Like I said, we support from childbirth and throughout the expansion of life. So we also have like our Connect services that works on independent living, if you're going to be living out on your own. My areas that I work in, I oversee the launch and next ed program. So launch is that coaching. So what we like to do is look at what goals you have, if that is looking at post-secondary education or employment or just getting involved in your community, making relationships, connections, or starting a new hobby. And what we want to do is help break that goal down into small tasks so you have something to work on each week to try to accomplish that goal. We have Next Ed, which is working on that independent living skills. So we focus in on the 9 pillars of independence. And we have classes that we actually partnered with WashU OT's program to develop this curriculum. We actually use hands-on learning with that one, also with virtual reality and video learning to practice those skills. And that could be anywhere from money management, developing routines, cooking, and nutrition, awareness, self-awareness, and all of those. So those are just some of the areas. If you're just looking to socialize, we run Bounce Forward, which is a monthly networking event that we do. The best way to get connected with us, if you're on Facebook, you can find us on Facebook at St. Louis ARC Bounce Forward. And what we do is we just try to go out somewhere in the community once a month to connect, and that's for individuals 16 to 30. My favorite event is in October because we go to St. Charles Main Street for their Legends and Lanterns festival and get to interact with all the different characters and actors. So yeah, I could keep going, but the ARC does offer quite a bit. I would say if you're interested in anything the ARC does, do go to that chat and click that link and get connected with April, because she could have that conversation with you and then see exactly where you want to go, and then she'll connect you with each department. You can also get on our St. Louis ARC's webpage and go through all of the services that we do.
Lindsay or Danielle, did you want to add to that, for the other services that you might provide outside of employment?
Yeah, so we have two other candidate-facing programs for our for our for our consumers. We call them consumers. We have for those who are in college, currently in college and needing support with internships, we have our college program called Access U. And basically we help those with career development skills, so resume writing, cover letters, when to disclose your disability, if you need to disclose your disability, um, interview skills and like interview skills and all that stuff that you need to know for the next step once you're in college and what that may look like as well. Um, Also we have for those who have graduated college and they still need a little bit of extra support with finding a job or anything like that. We also have, or they've been employed for a long time and want to move up in their positions. We have our Career Academy program too, which has been broken down into it was 16 weeks course and it's totally free. And basically, we don't do job placement at Starkloff Disability Institute. What we do is we teach the skills to our candidates of how to land a job and what it takes to land and how to use your disability as an asset in those interviews and things like that. So basically, we talk about disability pride and history. We talk about interview skills. We also bring in professionals within our corporate partnerships, and they come talk to our candidates and tell them what they look for when they're interviewing and everything like that, vice versa. And that's a 16-week course. We don't that doesn't cost anything as well. So majority of our programs are free. The only one that really has a cost to it is our Dream Big camps. But again, if that is a deterrent, we understand and we can also provide scholarships for that. And basically, we don't do job placement at Starkloff Disability Institute. What we do is we work with the candidate who may need a little bit of support, but sometimes there's candidates do need support. So sometimes they work with us and they coincide with maybe St. Louis Arc or Easterseals or VR and things like that for that extra support. But we do really teach the skills that they need. Also, if there's a corporation that you may like that you may are like, hey, I see that you work with Clayco or Ameren or things like that. I would love to apply here, and this is the position I'm going to apply for. What we do is we don't we can call the people there that we work with and try to talk to the person that they may interview with and say, hey, we have a candidate who applied here. It doesn't guarantee them the job. It may guarantee them a look at their skills and maybe guarantee them that first round of interviews. But let's say that interview didn't go well, which is totally fine and understandable. What we can do then is call that HR person or whoever interviewed them and ask them, hey, what can the candidate, what went well, what did not go well, and what can they do to improve? And then maybe we'll talk to them about what skills they have, what needed an improvement, and then maybe work on that for the next time around.
Okay, Lindsay, did you want to add?
Yeah, real quickly, I'll just talk about Easterseals services outside of employment. We offer independent and supported living. So if you're thinking about moving out in the future, we can help you learn some skills to be successful in doing that while you still live at home and then help transition out into your own place in the future. We offer individual engagement and self-advocacy courses. And so those are courses to help you learn your rights, responsibilities, and advocacy skills. We have autism-specific services from childhood through life. That's some recreation, some that are more social skills training related. And then we have some new service lines that are some home health support. So learning healthier habits like diet, management, exercise plan, etc., and some new assistive technology services. So I can also drop our website in the chat, but there's a lot of different options across all service lines outside of just employment.
We have a question in the chat. Do any of the providers come out to schools and give presentations or teaching?
We do offer that at the St. Louis ARC. We again, if you go to that link that I sent up earlier in the chat, that link, if you click that you would like to have somebody come out to your school or your facility to speak, you can actually click that as an option, and somebody will get contact with you to look at exactly what you are wanting somebody to come speak about. If it is employment, we could get you connected with the employment department. If it's just overall, or if it's advocacy, we could have, we do have a family navigator that oversees our self-advocates group. So we do have different speakers that come out to different locations to speak and educate. And again, that would be on that link that I sent up earlier, would be the best way to get connected with that.
For Starkloff Disability Institute, you can definitely go to the Dream Big program, the dreambigcamp.org, which is goes straight to the Dream Big program, and we definitely are open to come to schools and talk to students and just to talk about our programs in general. Also, we can do our adulting with a disability curriculum with your students as well. We have some different modules and things like that. You can do that, or you can call me directly at my phone number, which I put in there, which is also 314-860-2238. And that's my direct line. And basically leave a message, and I will get back to you as soon as possible about what needs you are wanting and needing.
And similar sentiment from Easterseals. I'm going online. You can find the 1-800 number, our main line. You can find our info@esmw.org email address. But we're happy to come out and speak. And it's best to go through that main number because we can get some more information about what you'd like to learn more about, so we can hook you up with the right team and ensure that they're coming out to present or share the relevant information.
Thank you. So I know I said like 2 last questions, like 15 questions ago. I know that Danielle mentioned that most of the services are free, except for the one camp. But for JR, you could just do a nod or a no. For JR or Legacy, are your services free for consumers? Please.
Thanks. I was waiting to see if JR was going to kick off first. So it's free to you if you start by accessing vocational rehabilitation funding. So you're not paying an out of pocket, but the way we partner with Voc Rehab, and you're going to hear from Chris in a little while, once they're your funder and partnering to help you navigate next steps and what have you. And then services like at Easterseals or St. Louis ARC are going to be funded through vocational rehabilitation. So there's not an out of pocket to you. And that's how we kind of work together as a team.
Yes, we're very similar. We do have, it's not free, but we do have state and county funding, depending on which program you're going to get into. Now, if you're looking at, it also depends on which program you're wanting to get involved in, because there are some things that have a small fee, but we do have some of them have scholarships or those kind of things. So it just really depends on the program, but yes, quite a few of them are funded programs, so they would not cost you anything. You would just have to look at it.
And do you all have any opportunities for high school students or college age students for summer employment? Are there any summer employment programs for your age?
Yes, we have summer work. it's a 6 to 8 week program that's going to be targeted at one job site for that period of time. And so again, contacting through our info or otherwise to get some more information about summer work and those experiences is the best strategy.
I think that's all of our questions. Thank you so much. This is actually going to take
Well, we buy it.
a little over.
Basically.
We asked those questions. We are going to take a small stretch break. Right? It's a small break. Maybe about 5 minutes. Well, actually, let's do 7, and we'll come back at 10 for Chris Robinson with vocational rehabilitation. So that gives us a little time to reset and things and take some of our speakers outside. Thank you so much to Easterseals, to Starkloff, and to Thank you so much. So we will take a 7-minute break and we'll be back at 10 for Chris Robinson. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We are, oh, you can't see me. So we have a few that. Are we all set up? Are we all back with it? We're gonna get started again. Welcome back from your break. So our next presenter will be from Vocational Rehabilitation. She has partnered with the OIPE program for quite some time now. And she will give information on vocational rehabilitation, which both JR and Lindsay brought up in their presentation. So I am going to turn it over to Ms. Christine Robinson. We have this.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay, perfect. Good morning, everybody. All right, so I'm just going to do a real quick overview of kind of like point of entry and the services in general. For any specific information, people would really need to meet with a voc rehab counselor to kind of talk about their specific situation, what they're looking for, and all of that. So we are a state agency, and we work with individuals with physical or mental impairments to obtain employment. So employment is our main goal. What we have to do initially is determine if a person is eligible for services. So we have to gather information to document the physical or mental impairment, which results in a substantial impediment to employment. So we look at, how does the disability impact a person getting a job, keeping a job, that kind of thing. And some people are still in school, right? And they might have had a job before, and they're like, oh, how do we know? We just kind of look at that stuff in general. We have 60 days to do eligibility for services. Some of the information we gather might be school records, medical records, those type of things. The important thing to note at this point in time is that we have had to go into what we call order of selection. Which means that we have to look at the severity of a person's disability. We have 3 categories: most significant, significant, and non-significant. Right now, those in the most significant category are being served immediately. The other 2 categories are on a waiting list. We cannot predict how long the wait list will be or anything like that. Some names have started coming off though. So that's good. That's a positive thing. So there's different areas that we look at, and we have to look at the functional limitations in these areas. And those are communication, mobility, self-care, self-direction, work tolerance, work skills, and interpersonal skills. So that's how we kind of categorize and look at that order of selection piece of things. Once we're able to provide services, then we take a look at what do we need to do to help an individual obtain employment. So you heard some great information in terms of the 2 facilities that had presented, right? ARC and Easterseals. There are other facilities that we partner with as well out in the community. So sometimes people are looking for just job placement services. We might look at what is the best program for them at that time. What is their vocational goal? How are we going to go about doing that? What agency do they want to work with? All of that. Other times individuals might be interested in education or vocational training in terms of like a HVAC type of program or electrical type of program and those type of things. Some of those services are based on financial need. So job placement services, there is no financial need basis or anything like that, but any education services and that kind of thing, it is. Under 23, we have to look at the family's income. Over 23, we look at the individual's income. And there's some other income related things too, that if it was specific to your situation, we could sit and go through and all of that. So what we really look at too is, are you ready to go to work? And what does it mean to go to work? We got to follow a schedule. You got to meet the standards of the business. Do you have children? Sometimes people do. You got to figure out daycare, all of those things. So those are all questions that we will ask throughout this whole process as well. Are there barriers to employment that maybe we need to look at before you even start the process? How are you going to get someplace? Transportation, make sure that you have a place to live, housing, what's your health like, all of those. Now we do not provide money for housing. We do not provide money for counseling, those type of things, but we want to look at that whole person. It's like a puzzle, I always think of, because if you don't have a way to get to work, how are you going to be successful? So our whole goal is competitive integrated employment. And again, depending upon the route or direction will depend upon how we get there. So everyone is looked at on an individual basis. So what might be something that your friend is getting for services might not be what you're getting for services, because everybody is different. Everybody is in a different situation in their life. And we want to make sure that we're looking at what's the best vocational direction for where you're at right now in your life, and how are you going to get there, and all of that. And we want to look at what supports do you need to be successful on that job. Some people need just a little bit of coaching support, maybe not even on the job. Other people might need help and assistance on that job, learning what that job is. Throughout these programs, and I know you heard JR and Lindsay talk a lot about some of the employment pieces of things, but also, help with interviewing, help with filling out applications, help with transitioning into that job. And again, everything, and I know I sound like a broken record, but competitive integrated employment, that's jobs within the community. We don't have a box full of jobs or anything, and the agencies don't either. And so it's helping you to look at what is that best fit for you right now with where you're at in your life. It could change 3 or 4 years from now. So it's important to know that Voc Rehab is not a one and done type of thing. We help people all the time with advancing in situations. Sometimes people want to start off part-time. So we help them with getting that part-time job. Then they come back to us later and say, hey, I'm ready for a full-time job, 40-hour a week. Can you help with that? Yes, we can. Maybe sometimes, businesses end up closing or laying off and people are like, oh no, I need some help. People can come back at that point in time and we can help them in finding another opportunity and such. I think that's really important for people to know. Sometimes people think, oh, they'll only help with one thing or that kind of thing. And that is not the case. We're here to help and continue to do things. So, again, some vocational planning. They talked a little bit about the exploration, discovery, figuring out the best goal, that kind of thing. We look at guidance and counseling services. Sometimes we're able to help with physical and mental restoration. Sorry, I have a little bit of a sinus thing going on, so I apologize. Making sure that a person knows how to interview, all of that. We support you with your job search, and going forward with all of those different things. So it's competitive integrated employment. So point of entry can be a number of different ways. Sometimes people come to us when they're graduating out of high school or their vocational skills programs. When they're in their final year of those programs, we do have counselors that go into the schools and we're into these vocational programs and such. So, you can talk to your teachers about those things. Excuse me. Sometimes people come in through general intake. We have no age limit. And in the beginning piece, again, it's when you're finishing school. So, I have partnered with the Succeed program there and gotten individuals. I've partnered with some of the schools. And then I also work with people just coming in off a general intake. Excuse me. Another thing, people were talking about summer work. We do have summer programs for those individuals that are going to be in their final 2 years of a school program. So it's a 6-week program. A person gets paid minimum wage. It's 20 hours a week, and they learn hard skills of the job as well as some soft skills, making sure they get to work on time, making sure that they know how to interact with coworkers and supervisors and all of that. So that's another program that's been very helpful and successful for people, and it gives some employment in terms of stuff you can put down on applications and resumes and all of that. So really the point of entry, depending upon where you're at in your life, it could be calling one of the general Voc Rehab offices and coming in that way, or going through your school program. I can give you the number for our particular office, but we have, like, including St. Charles, there's 5 in the St. Louis area. And usually what we tell people is go to the one that's closest to your house just because it's more convenient, but you can go to any one that you would like. So the phone number for our particular office is 314-587-4877. And then again, if you're still of school age, you could go and talk to your teachers or instructors about all of that stuff. But the biggest message is competitive integrated employment. And so if we're working with you and we don't feel like that's the right choice at that point in time or the right fit for you, we might talk about some of the pre-employment programs, such as like through Easterseals or ARC. RISE has some as well. So there's so much stuff. and I wanted to try and keep it brief because it gets overwhelming. Again, if anybody has any specific questions about themselves, it would be better to talk with a counselor on an individual basis in either coming into the office or that type of thing. But I don't know if anybody has any questions right now that they might have about VR that I might not have covered.
Your questions.
Christine, did you talk about the application process? I'm sorry if you did, I might have missed it.
Okay.
Like how to apply?
There's like kind of services exactly what they qualify for.
Could you hear me?
You fill out applications.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. So the application, we have a one-page sheet that gets completed with some basic information. That can be, if you call our office and you go through general intake, that will be sent out to you when you get an appointment and such. If you go through like school or something, your teacher will have that piece of paper and we'll be able to get you guys to fill that out and then coordinate a date and time to meet with you at your school. Does that answer that?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Christine, do you mind, we've had a request for contact information specifically for you. Do you mind putting that in the chat with like maybe your email or how students could reach out to you, or how teachers could possibly reach out to you?
To me specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we're finished talking and stuff, I can throw my email address and my direct line phone number in there.
So another question is, and you might have mentioned this, when you have a VR case, will you always have a VR case?
So we are time limited in terms of services. We help an individual with obtaining employment, and then depending upon the supports that they need on the backside, follow them for a minimum of 90 days. If everything is going well on their job and such, that's when we would close up that case. However, people can always come back and return. And so let's say something happens to the job, the employer goes out of business. You can always come back at a later date and time. Or, and I think I might have mentioned, somebody might be having a part-time job initially when they're first out of school, then they want to get a full-time job. They can always come back at a later date and time, but we don't keep the case open indefinitely. So you would have to go back through that whole intake process again.
For our participants that are virtual, if you have questions, don't forget to put them in the chat for Ms. Christine Robinson. Anyone, do you have any other questions for VR?
Yes, so.
Okay, so the question was, do you help with volunteer as well? Well,
Volunteer opportunities?
Yes.
No, we do not, because we are all about competitive integrated employment. And so that's where you might be referred to like the pre-employment program. That is a volunteer opportunity so that you can learn some skills in order to eventually get a job in the community, that competitive integrated employment. So we do not help with finding volunteer opportunities.
Okay. I think that was all of our questions. Thank you so much, Christine Robinson, for VR, and that was great information for our special school district students and our OIPE students and teachers. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I'll put my name, my direct line, and the email in there, and then if anybody has anything else, they can let me know. All right. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Right, if we were gonna switch our spotlights now. So, are we ready?
Yep.
Hey, this is so weird, the way this camera is. Sorry, everybody. So we are going to move along on our agenda, and I think we actually caught up on time. And so we have our employer presenters that will be here to share their opportunities, how to apply, what job positions they have, and what their organization is, if they have volunteer opportunities as well. I am super excited about this part as well. So right now, we have, a lot of stuff happening on screen. So I believe I saw, yes, we have Miss Deborah from Unleashing Potential. We have Jess from EarthDance. We also have Lori from Wild Birds Rehab. And we are anticipating 2 more employers, but if they do not show, we will give that information. We are going to move right along with our program. Okay, so if to my hosts, well, those that are helping with tech support, if we can unpin Christine Robinson and yeah. Okay. Okay, well, just a note, Chris, you're still pinned right now, we're working on that to get you unpinned, so maybe suggest that you get your camera off right now. Okay. Without further ado, I'm super excited to hear from these ladies. So, can everybody hear me? We're good?
Yeah, very good.
Mr. Meyer. All right. We are going to start with Unleashing Potential. So Miss Deborah from Unleashing Potential, and the mic is yours.
Okay, well, thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to figure out how to get my screen shared here, so just bear with me. PowerPoint. Okay. Well, first, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I've got a few slides. I'm gonna probably speak quickly. I'm gonna do my best to get in as much as I can. So my name is Debbie Reno. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources at Unleashing Potential. And so we were founded in 1913, originally as a settlement house. Our current mission is to close the opportunity gap for children and youth by building on their strengths. So essentially, we provide educational services to children and youth. So we have 3 primary programs. We have after-school programming, where we are in the University School District. We are also in Ferguson Florissant, and then we are at Atlas Charter School, which is in South City. We also have an early childhood education center called Caroline Mission, which is in South City. And we have youth development and enrichment camps as well, which of course is for summer only. So some of our career opportunities that we've got right now. Early childhood education teachers, this is a full-time position that we have at our South City Caroline Mission location. We serve children 6 weeks of age up to 5 years of age in this location. We have several different shift options, and it's Monday through Friday, so there's no weekend work. Key duties here are just engaging children with play and learning activities, providing physical care for children like feeding, cleaning, toiletry, etc., supervising children during play, nap, and mealtime, and outdoor activities. Our key requirements, we certainly prefer individuals that might have an education, an early childhood education, an associate's degree or a bachelor's is great. Experience working with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers is preferred, especially if you don't have the degree. We do provide training and some other outside external training as well. Our most skilled position that we have is our after-school site manager. This is a full-time position, managing the after-school program in most likely 2 sites. And again, we are in the U City School District and the Ferguson Florissant School District, which is where we need site managers currently. Our after-school programs run from about 2:30 to 6, but this position is doing much more. So they're overseeing programs at a couple of sites. They're the key contact for parents and school administrators. They develop program lesson plans and activities for the children. They ensure compliance with licensing and donor requirements. And there is a staff involved where they are managing training and coaching the staff. Bachelor's degree in elementary education or a related field is preferred. It's not necessary. We definitely need some experience with teaching and working with children and youth, though that is required for this position. It's ideal if someone has some experience managing people as well. But we also have to make sure that this, whoever takes these positions have the ability to travel to the different locations. We also have part-time positions in our after-school program, which we call program assistants. Again, for here, we've got U City School District, Ferguson Florissant School District, and our South City Atlas Charter School. And again, our after-school programming runs from 2:30 to 6, so that would be the shift, Monday through Friday. Key duties for these roles: implement program lesson plans and activities, provide education to children in life skills, STEAM, not just STEM, but STEAM, nutrition and physical fitness, facilitate field trips and special events. Similar to the others, key requirements: love to have an associate's degree in elementary education or a related field. It's preferred, not necessary. Experience with working with children and youth is preferred, but again, not necessary. But this does require the ability to travel to our different sites because we often will have to move people around based on our enrollment and licensing requirements. And then our last position is temporary, seasonal, full-time employment as camp counselors. So we have 2 camps going on this year. We have one at Emmanuel United Church of Christ, which is in Ferguson area. Then we also have Hope United Church of Christ, which is in South City. Our summer camp runs from June 2nd to August 1st, and the hours are 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So key duties for our camp counselors: you're planning and facilitating daily activities, both recreational and educational, facilitating field trips and special events, and preparing children for participation in our annual cardboard boat regatta, which is a lot of fun. Key requirements: again, we prefer a degree in elementary education, but it's not necessary. And we certainly like some experience working with children and youth if possible. This is the only position that we have that is not eligible for any benefits. So from a benefit perspective, what we offer is full or part-time employees are eligible for free programming for their children. So anyone that works for us, their children can participate in any of our programs free of charge. In fact, it's also extended to any children that are living in the household. So we've got some grandparents where their grandchildren live with them. They are also eligible. So we have, vision insurance, paid sick time, paid professional development. And then our full-time staff also get paid vacation, medical dental insurance, agency paid life insurance, and 401k with a match. So to join our team, which we'd love to have some conversations, you can contact myself, and I'll make sure that I put my contact information in the chat as well, or our HR business partner, Leah Harris. You can always go onto our website, which is www.upstl.org, and there is also a QR code that will take you right to our career page. That is all I have, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Unleash Your Potential. So our next presenter will be from EarthDance. So Jess and Danny, you have the mic.
Sure, y'all. We're just going to get our presentation pulled up. Let me get to screen sharing real quick. While I do that, I will say that my name is Jess Coffin, and I am the Program and Storytelling Manager at EarthDance Organic Farm School. Sorry, having a hard time getting our presentation pulled up. Do you want to introduce yourself, Danny, while we're doing that?
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm the Garden and Volunteer Coordinator at EarthDance Organic Farm School, and I'm also a full season apprentice alum.
Yeah, I'm not sure, y'all, why it's not letting me. I've had no issues recently in the past getting a presentation pulled up.
The Zoom thing, as far as like sharing. I hate that whole. Is it a Zoom thing or?
It does seem like it's a Zoom thing. It's asking me to
Yes.
quit and reopen. Do you want to go to the next person and we'll get quit and reopen and come back? And
Okay.
pull it up? Does that sound okay?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
So Lori, from Wildberg Rehab, we're gonna turn it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here with the group. We really appreciate it. So our organization has been around for 33 years. We are a hospital for native wild songbirds. So basically what we are doing is we are treating injured songbirds and also raising baby songbirds, which of course now it's baby season. So we are getting very, very busy and taking in birds every day. So we are not a sanctuary. We are an actual hospital for birds. So our mission is to raise, rehabilitate, and release our songbirds back into the wild. We are a part of the Missouri Department of Conservation efforts and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife efforts. So a big part of our conservation community here, both locally and nationally. We are very excited to be able to offer opportunities to help in our work. We are going to be a little bit different than some of the other organizations that have presented today, in that we would have volunteer opportunities as well as internship opportunities that would be for experience and not necessarily pay. We are in the process of actually adding on intern members for our summer season right now. We are always looking for volunteers. We are a small organization. Our budget is about $300,000 on an annual basis. We have 5 full-time staff people. We add 4 full-time equivalent staff members for the summer to help with our baby raising. And then we have 100 to 125 volunteers on an annual basis. So very volunteer-led and run organization. One of the great things about us is that we are the only place in the entire area and in the state actually where you could get up close experience with our songbirds in a very intimate wildlife setting. There are, of course, other organizations that do wildlife rehab, but we are the only ones that do what we do. And it's extremely rewarding experience. We take the babies from the time that they come out of the nest in some cases, all the way up to raising them to be adults and then releasing them, which is incredibly wonderful and what our mission is all about for the organization. So we are always happy to entertain applications for internships and volunteers. Our application is actually on our website, which I am going to go ahead and post here, our website and our direct phone number. Volunteer opportunities for us would include a number of different things. We have many, many cleaning and sterilization projects that need to be done every day, all day. We also have a person that works with our front desk, helping to check in rescuers and rehabbers and our birds. That is a great need for us all of the time. We also have a phone team. So this is a remote opportunity where you would answer calls from our rescuers that are coming, that are asking questions about what to do because they found birds need help, and then we counsel them on what to do. Ultimately, our goal is not to have the birds come into the center if at all possible. So we try to counsel folks on what to do next, re-nesting, building a nest, putting the baby back in the nest if possible, what other options there might be. And this is remote. We transfer our phones to your personal cell phone so you can do it from anywhere, including your home. I will also say that we have had a number of volunteers over the last several years from Easterseals and UCP Heartland. So, we're very open to working with all of the different members of the community in our work. So I'm going to go ahead and post our website and our phone, and then happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you so much, Lori. We are going to turn it over to Jess and Danny now, and then we'll do Q&A. Well, I have a couple of employer stuff, and then we'll do Q&A.
Hey, y'all.
Are you able to share now?
It looks like it's
Yay!
Can you see it?
Yay!
Awesome. Okay, let me get into presentation mode here. Thanks for your patience with us. Danny's going to share a little bit about what we do.
Yeah, so like I said, my name's Danny. I'm a garden and volunteer coordinator and also a full season apprentice alum, which is our flagship program here at EarthDance. We are a non-for-profit organic USDA organic farm located in Ferguson, Missouri, that was established in 2008. Our mission is to advance food justice by training organic farmers and gardeners of all and providing connection to healthy food in the land while cultivating vibrant community. Our main focus is providing accessibility to farm education and healthy, nutritious organic produce to all in need. And our volunteer program, which I oversee, is an option for both groups, students, individuals. There's photos of our volunteers living their best lives. Volunteer opportunities are weekly from April through October. We have shifts on Tuesdays, Fridays, and every second, third, and fourth Saturday for individuals, and then group volunteer opportunities upon request. You can see those hours and things there at the bottom. We do have orientation that we ask that individuals come to, and that is every second Saturday of the month. So if you are interested in getting your hands dirty, getting some soil therapy, and getting an idea of if this kind of work is something that you're interested in, or if you're just passionate about our mission, need volunteer hours, etc., you would reach out to our website through our volunteer program tab and sign up for an orientation.
Thanks, Danny. I'll just mention that I started at EarthDance as a volunteer and I'm now a full-time employee here. And I think there are plenty of people who start as volunteers and find their way to employment here, as well as,
and I also did.
Like Danny started as a volunteer and then became an apprentice, which I'm going to talk about the apprenticeship in just a minute.
Sorry. So yeah, like I said, there's many reasons why you would find yourself volunteering here. You might just support our mission. You might be looking for community service hours. You want to learn more about growing food but can't commit to our apprenticeship programs. It's a great way to just build community, come out with your friends, come out with your family, and learn more about farming and gardening and just community-centered food justice work without a huge commitment as far as like time and things go.
And when you're working as a volunteer, you get to work with the farmer educators. It's a great learning experience as well. And with other people who are like similarly mission aligned and also learning, like here for learning. So as I mentioned, I'm going to talk a little bit about our apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program is EarthDance's flagship program. So it was the first program when the organization was founded in 2008, and then the apprenticeship program started in 2009. It was really the primary way that we invited people into connection with the land and with learning. And it really is still at the heart of our work. We have 2 apprenticeship programs available at this time or on a regular basis every year. We have 2 apprenticeship program options. One of them is a 10-month paid farm apprenticeship. This one is 30 hours per week, and it's really, we say it's the full spectrum of the seasons. There is like a quiet time in the winter. There's still plenty of work happening in planning work in January and February, but you really get kind of the full spectrum of the growing season and even some of the planning work in doing a 10-month apprenticeship. And then we have a 10-week hands-on summer farm and garden apprenticeship. And they do really cover the same content, but as you might imagine, a 10-week apprenticeship is just not going to be able to go as deep into things as a 10-month apprenticeship. The 10-month apprenticeship is really designed for folks who really know that this is a career path that they want to pursue, and they're ready to really learn the skills and be ready to come out on the other side to either start a small farm or what are some of the other, teach other people to
Yeah,
grow food?
Manage gardens, work in food justice work, because we are a very food justice centered farm. But yeah, it definitely, you learn from seed to market in a market farming regenerative organic methods. So it really takes you from planting the seed all the way to package and marketing and selling your produce. So you get the full spectrum through the program, through both programs, really.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna go through all of these. These are just some of the main topics that get covered during both apprenticeships, again, with a great deal more depth in the 10-month apprenticeship. But both apprenticeships offer the opportunity to work really closely with the farmer educators alongside them in the field, in the harvest house, at our Pay What You Can farm stand, going to the Ferguson Farmers Market, meeting people in the community, both at the farmers market and at the farm, learning with and from each other as well. It's a very community oriented organization, and the apprenticeship really offers people the opportunity to consistently, the volunteer program does too, but this is just more condensed and offers people more time in a shorter period of time to dig in to the work that we're doing here.
And these apprenticeships go live usually in January and April.
Yes. The way that we did it this year was the full season apprenticeship went live, I think in late December. And then we actually just closed our applications. Unfortunate timing for the summer apprenticeship. But next year, I think we're planning to do it all at once. So if you're interested in looking at the apprenticeship program for 2026, you'll want to be paying attention in December 2025 and January 2026, because we'll do them all at the same time next year.
So a huge part of our mission is accessibility to produce and education. Like we said, we have an on-farm Pay What You Can farm stand. What that means is we have a solidarity pricing format. We have a retail suggestive price for all of our produce, and then you can pay as little or as much as you need to pay or would like to pay. Paying more is just a donation to the farm and helps support the mission of giving us the opportunity to also charge less. We do that payment plan for our Pay What You Can farm stand, which is open on Fridays and Sundays during the main growing season, as well as at the Ferguson Farmers Market. That is the same pricing we also offer for all of our education, our workshops, and a program we have each spring called Spring Training for gardeners. And so, a workshop is $35 suggested price. You can pay as little as nothing, or pay $50 if you've got it. So that is just one way we want to provide students and folks of all walks of life and all backgrounds an opportunity to eat nutritious food and also gain knowledge in farming and gardening.
Info about the Ferguson Farmers Market. If you haven't been there, it's a really fun one. Highly recommend joining us. There's like a fun activity every week planned by the market. And there's usually music and just general good vibes and lots of good food and stuff available.
Great community.
Yeah.
And then you can find us here through our social, through the earthdancefarms.org. You can also sign up for the newsletter. That's a really great way to keep up with different opportunities, different hiring opportunities we have at the farm, and just workshops, etc.
Thanks, y'all. We really appreciate the opportunity to share with you, and hope that we will see you at the farm sometime soon. Do folks have any questions for us?
Thank you so much. So, if you don't mind, to Amy sharing, and then we're going to go through a Q&A. So we have some selected questions from registrants, and then we also have some live Q&A. So, Jeff, I see you. Give me about, after this Q&A, then we'll get you in, okay? Just take a breather, you're fine. We're gonna do Q&A and then we'll get you on, okay? All right, so Rob is gonna do Q&A, but actually, for Unleashing Potential, EarthDance, and Wild Bird Rehab, is there an age requirement to apply or to volunteer? So we can start with Deborah, and then we'll go Deborah, EarthDance, then Wild Bird Rehab.
Sure. So we do on occasion can hire as young as 16 years old. Typically, you need to be 18 years old in order to work with children on your own. But we do have some opportunities at the age of 16 and 17. The difference is that these individuals cannot be working on their own with children. They have to have another individual with them. But other than that, typically it would be 18, but there are a few opportunities for younger. I think that was the full question. I don't know if I missed anything.
Then EarthDance?
Yeah. So for our volunteer program, we like to see folks ages 14 and older. We do have a youth education program, and we actually partner with Unleashing Potential for some after school work, which we really love and are very grateful that we get to do. But for volunteering, ages 14 and older, and then for the apprenticeship, ages 18 and older.
And for the volunteers that are 14 to 17, we do prefer an adult be with them, some guardian of some sort.
Plant boy.
Lori, that's what there's.
Ours would be 16 or older for all programs.
Wonderful, wonderful. Alrighty, our next question is, how does your organization, company reward loyalty and promote loyalty? And Lauren?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I couldn't understand what you said.
How does your company or organization reward loyalty and promote growth?
Did you say loyalty?
Yes.
Speak up a little bit, Bob.
Yeah.
It just sounds really muffled. I'm sorry. Maybe it's my microphone. So rewarding loyalty, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we are, of course, very grateful for all of our volunteers because we would not be able to do our jobs without them. We tried to do some fun things throughout the course of our season, meaning that we do different, we bring in goodies for our volunteers. We try to have different days for them to enjoy time together. It's very busy for us all season long, so we don't have a lot of downtime. Most everybody's coming in and moving all the time, but we do try to have fun. Once a year, we have a volunteer recognition event, thanking everybody for their work, and then doing a training and a kickoff for our next baby season. So we do try to do different things for our volunteers as much as we can, and budget will allow.
You want us to go ahead and go next?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay, great. So I mean, one of the just kind of amazing things that I've experienced and heard lots of other people speak to having experienced in connection with EarthDance is that it is a place that really honors reciprocity. So when you show up and you're bringing like your best self and what you have to offer to the work, it really does feed the humans also. When you show up as a volunteer, you do get a share of the harvest every week. So that's just kind of a lovely, beautiful thing. You get to come, you're digging in, you're getting the benefit of being in the soil. And whether you're a volunteer or working as an apprentice or in some other capacity at the farm, the benefit of being in community, and then you get to take a share of this organic produce home with you. Our apprenticeships are paid apprenticeships, which in a learning environment, and even at EarthDance is not always the case. It used to be here that it was a paid program and that participants paid to get the educational benefit. But we recognize that we are also asking people to provide labor on the farm. And so it has evolved over time into what we think is a fair and equitable model where we're actually paying people to participate in the apprenticeship and also gain the learning experience. Something that has felt true for me, and I know I've also heard other people speak to this, that if you just keep showing up, if it's a place that really feels like it feeds you and you just keep showing up, so that's like showing loyalty, that generally we can find a place for you here. And I've seen that happen multiple times. I came to the farm. Yeah, me too.
Loyal to the soil is our motto.
Yeah, in 2021, and like just kept coming back. So I hope that answers the question. We believe farmers deserve a living wage too. So that's a huge part of our work, is making sure that people are paid fairly for their labor. But anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think we also do some celebrations at the end of the season for our volunteers. We have a Volunteer of the Year award, so I mean, we definitely really try to, like, we high 10 at the end of each shift where we get in a circle and high five, and we definitely really try to keep a very like holistic, loving, supportive, just energy about the work here that I think is just another way of honoring that, that growth and, loyalty question.
Yeah. People bring good snacks.
Yeah. Yes.
Time too.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, thank you. And the machine potential.
Okay. Yeah, so kind of similar to the others, creating loyalty, I think often it just has to do with the culture and how we treat each other, is super important. We try to recognize our staff, provide, if you're an employee, provide advancement opportunities. We have all kinds of opportunities for professional development. So even if you come to us and you don't have a formal degree, or maybe you don't even have experience, you can get that experience, acquire some education, maybe even walk out with some certifications. So, but again, for us, it really does just go back to the culture and just showing people that we appreciate them, thanking everyone for the services they provide. And then I think there's always, when we talk to our staff, because our staff are dealing with children, there's always a big connection that they have with the children that they serve, which kind of creates its own sense of loyalty because they become so attached to the children and they become loyal to the children as well. So those are some of the things that we do.
All right. And we have an important question. It's how do you handle disability disclosure for job applicants at your organization? EarthDance, we can start with you.
Sure. I mean, we invite people to disclose what and they feel comfortable disclosing and when they feel comfortable disclosing it with us. And the idea is that we want to be as supportive, accessible and supportive as possible. You meet people where they are.
Sure.
I'll just go ahead if you don't mind, and I will ditto what EarthDance just said. That's the same thing. It's, reveal when you can, when you're comfortable, and when it's appropriate for you.
We would be the same way at Wildbird Rehab. I will let everyone know that our building does have quite a few stairs, and we do not have an elevator because it is an old home. So at this point, that is a challenge for us. We are going to be looking to change buildings in the coming years, which would be better for us for sure. But right now, that is something that I do need to let everyone know. But otherwise, we are open to any and all conversation.
Wonderful. I did have a follow-up question to that. Is many people do not feel comfortable disclosing on paper, but might say so later in the interview. Does it help your organization to know on the paper version? Or is it okay finding out later?
I'll go ahead and start. It does not have to be on the paper. In fact, most individuals, that's not where we see it. It takes place either during the interviewing process as we start talking about the responsibilities and the requirements of the position. So if someone feels that they might need some sort of an accommodation, that's where it might come out. And it also comes out sometimes when they're actually in the job and maybe there's some struggles that come across, but it is not, hopefully we're communicating the requirements of the job in the interview to the point where if there are any concerns that discussion can be had, but absolutely does not have to be on the paper form.
Okay, and Lori?
Our answer would be the same. It is very helpful for us to know in the placement process of what the volunteer opportunity is going to be that you would be interested in. For instance, if we're going to be feeding and caring for birds, that does require quite a bit of hand work with hemostats and tweezers and those kinds of things. So that's something we would need to work on potentially. We do have training. We do have folks that help us with all of that, of course, and staff to oversee. I will say that the individuals who worked with us recently from UCP and from Easterseals, they did have a counselor or a job coach that came with them to the site, which was really wonderful and very helpful for everyone to be able to get the time that they needed to learn and have some supervisory help in that capacity. But for us, it's really through the process of where we're going to place you in the volunteer program.
I'd sort of echo what Lori and Deborah have shared, which is it does not have to be on paper. Yeah, so in conversation makes total sense if that is comfortable for you.
Yeah, so part of the orientation process for our volunteer program specifically is so that those interested in the farm and in doing that work are able to just come see for themselves. It includes a tour. We share about some of what that work would look like to help folks better get an idea for themselves and maybe for whoever is helping support them, if this is even work that they're interested in. And that is also a way that we open that for them without asking questions, without them having to share anything with us. It gives them an opportunity to come just see the land and see the work and kind of make some of those decisions for themselves.
Yeah. The two more pieces in here. That is a great way to lead into our final scripted question, which is please describe your training process or curriculum. EarthDance, if you could go on that, we just left off.
I'm sorry, did you say please describe your training process and curriculum?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it sort of depends on the program. It really is hands-on education in all regards. As Danny mentioned, there's an orientation ahead of getting to participate in a volunteer shift. And we do that for the reasons that Danny described and so that people have a better sense of the mission of the organization, the history of the land, the people that they get to meet, at least at a first meet level, and a sense for whether or not they want to come back and participate in the volunteer program. When you come, you can start to dig in that day after the tour if you're ready, and they're doing an activity that feels good for you. But you get a sense over time then of what the activities that would be taking place during a volunteer shift are. So whether that's working in the field, whether that's hauling buckets of compost, whether that's working in the harvest house, washing and bagging or packing produce. Those are kind of the main things, or planting or harvesting. I think I already said that.
Yeah, and so the farm team and or myself are always there. When you're volunteering, there is always a staff member with you, not only saying, hey, this is what we're going to do, but also sharing why we're doing it and teaching along the way. So we really kind of teach as we go here, especially with the volunteer program and really the apprenticeship as well. As far as curriculum, we do have for the apprentices, sort of a structured curriculum as far as the season goes, but really everything is kind of in the moment and working together, supervised by a staff member.
And based on the needs of what's happening at the farm on that day,
yes,
at that time of the season.
And also, we really meet our volunteers where they're at as well. We have volunteers of all ages, bodies, and if there is something that you are not able to do, we are always open and willing to help you find something that you're comfortable doing as well. There's always a task for everyone here. So just want to keep that in mind as well, that we are very conscious of that and we do our best to accommodate each individual and their needs.
Thank you. Unleashing potential. You have a training process?
Sure. So when someone joins the agency, they spend their first 3 days with Human Resources, and they get an introduction to all of the leadership team. They learn a little bit more about all of the programs that we do. And then we have because we are state licensed, we have some very specific training requirements that all employees have to go through. Much of it is done online. It also requires employees to, if they don't have one, to create a Missouri professional development account, and they take the training through there. The nice thing about that is that you are then starting to acquire real life training that can be put towards different certifications that can be had in the early childhood education arena. And so that training takes place, and we also provide CPR and first aid training to all of our staff as well. And so once all of that training is completed, then the individual starts. So usually we do our orientations Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So by the time someone leaves on Friday, they've got their CPR training, they've got all the other required training, they've got their introduction to the agency. We've done all of our HR stuff. And then they go out into the program on Monday, and that's when they will work with their manager, where they will get an orientation to that specific site and learn, get introduced to, if you're in a school, you're going to be introduced to school personnel, other individuals that you might need to interact with at the school. You learn where certain safety things, and that's when you start getting into the specifics of your job. So it's a little bit different for everybody, but the concept is the same.
All right. And last but not least, around here we have.
So our process starts with the application online, which is the website that I sent the link in the chat earlier. So once you fill that application out, then that application goes to our volunteer coordinator and administrative director, Denise White, who manages our program. And she will then reach out to you to let you know when the next trainings are coming up. So we do several hours of training on Saturdays. Generally, all of our trainings have been on Saturdays. We have 2 more coming up right now that are scheduled for the season, and they are the first Saturday of May and the first Saturday of June at the St. Louis County Library main branch on Lindbergh Boulevard. So you would come there, you'd go through the training. Then at that point, you would fill out some paperwork for us, noting what your interests are, what you feel your skills would be, where you might like to be placed in our program. And then Denise works with every one of our each one of our volunteer candidates on an individual basis to determine where you're best going to fit in the center. If you're going to come in and work in the center, then you would be brought in for a tour and an explanation of everything that's going on prior to actually starting working on the floor. If you're going to be working on the phone team, then we would have you meet with the chair of our phone team committee, and she would help you with training in regard to that. And again, that would be all phone, remote. You don't necessarily have to come into the center for that at all. If you want to come in for a tour, we would absolutely have you do that, but you do not have to. We can train you for that completely outside the premises. And then if you are doing an internship program with us in that you want to potentially look at wildlife rehab as a career, then that is going to be a different process with our rehabilitation staff and our hospital director in regard to the curriculum that you would learn and what you would be interested in doing. Some of our interns are coming just to learn on their own because they want to learn to potentially have a career in this field. Other interns are coming in for credit for their colleges, universities, high schools. We do a lot of community service work with high school students as well. So it just depends on what path you're going to take with us as to what the next steps would be. But we have paths for everyone, no matter what you're looking to do.
Right. Thank you so much. We do have some targeted questions from our live Q&A. If you are participating from another school, please put your questions in the chat so that we can read them. For EarthDance, what kind of personalities do you look for? What skills do you need in order to get started with you?
I mean, I think generally, you can tell me what you think of this, people who are really interested in the work and enthusiastic and really want to show up and participate. Those are like the baseline criteria. You know, and it might change. Like you might show up and think you're enthusiastic and then might decide you're not, and that's okay too. But we really find that the people who do end up showing up, sticking around, are folks who just really want to learn and grow and be in connection with the land and community and healthy food and food justice.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, just very community-centered, conscious, kind humans are typically kind of who we attract. And we're looking for anyone that is, you know, like everyone is welcome. And that's definitely a tenet of who we are as an organization. But I think definitely just a willingness, enthusiasm, and just a love for the earth is really a big connection that we typically find and have here at the farm.
We also are an organization that's always trying to do better, continuous improvement. So if you're somebody who really wants to be present with an organization and wants to help us do better,
yeah. All right, thank you. This next question is for Wildbird. Earlier you said that the organization differs from other wild rescues, and one of our students would like to know how and why.
So we differ in that we are handling only native songbirds. So there is no one else in the state of Missouri that is doing this work. It's only us. So if you're looking to have direct experience with songbirds specifically, we are going to be the only place that you can do that. We do have a partner on the other side of the state called Lakeside Nature Center in the Kansas City area. And they actually bring birds to us, or we meet them halfway if they get birds on that side of the state, because they don't have the expertise to raise and rehabilitate like we. And I think, oh, that was from, okay, sorry, I was looking at the chat. So that's what I meant by it. There are two other organizations in the state, in this community, who handle other wildlife. So we have Wildlife Rescue Center, which is in Baldwin, and they actually handle waterfowl and all other small critters. So possums, squirrels, bunnies, you name it, they handle it. And then we have World Bird Sanctuary, which many of you may be familiar with if you've ever gone to their property, because they are an actual sanctuary where they keep birds who cannot be released in the wild. We do not. And they handle raptors. So between our three organizations, we have all bird world covered in the state and in the community. Hopefully that answers it.
All right, we do have a earlier question from high school. Do any of you come out to schools to give presentations or allow field trips to your site?
So I'll go ahead and start. Yes, we do presentations at high schools. So, you know, we're always looking for invitations and definitely would support. I don't think we've ever had students actually come out and observe and see what the work that we do, but certainly would be open to that. Absolutely. I think that's a great way, especially really for anyone, let alone students, but for anyone to just get a sense of what the work environment would be. One thing that we do during our interviewing process is our first interview is a phone interview, and the second one actually takes place at the location that the individual will be working at potentially, so that they can actually see the environment and meet their coworkers. And so, yeah, so going to schools is something that we do and would absolutely invite tours as well.
Yes, so we do welcome tours. You can find information about if you have if you're in a class and you're either a student, if a student wants to lead the process, or if the teacher wants to lead or the educator wants to lead the process, you can start the process on our website to come get a tour of the farm. You also can come to the monthly tour that Danny mentioned before. And then we do go out to schools. One of the things that we do in partnering with Unleashing Potential is, again, with their after school programming, our farm to school educator Joya will go and do a variety of things, and not just Joya, but mostly Joya, including cooking demonstrations with farm fresh produce, which is a great way to get your first taste of EarthDance produce, which is delicious. And also just to get a feel for what we do. But we also come out and can just do like a presentation, a more maybe in-depth presentation about what we do and how we do it. What is regenerative agriculture or farming, or whatever you might be interested in that is connected with the work that we do.
We also do group volunteer opportunities as well that include a tour. So if you had a class that wanted to come out and volunteer as well, so there's also that option for a one-time opportunity that does not need an orientation either. So if you did have a group of ideally 10 or more, they come out, get a brief tour, a little more info about our mission, and then we get into a task together.
We also are happy to come out and do presentations for schools. We do quite a bit of that actually, and also for community venues. I was actually just at a kindergarten school this week doing a presentation, which was a lot of fun. So we do a lot of education, and actually we just received some grant funds to expand that programming for us. So always happy to work with folks on that. In-facility tours are a little bit more challenging for us because we are a hospital. So we are trying to keep a quiet environment for the birds because they're already stressed and upset with their current circumstances. We will do it. It does have to be arranged specifically with me, and it would be for a very small group. So we could not bring in a group of 10 young people at a time. One, because it's too stressful for the birds, and two, because we simply don't have the space in our building to do it. We've got birds everywhere, and with our volunteers and our staff on the floor, there's just not a lot of extra room to move people through. But we are always willing to discuss it and try to do it if it's something that you might be interested in.
We have one more question for Unleashing Potential, and that is, how can I impress you at the interview?
Well, we'd love to have an interview. So the best, easiest way is to go on our website at www.upstl.org /careers. If you go /careers, that'll bring you to the link for our career page. All of our opportunities are on there. And you can just simply apply. If you want to get some personalized attention and you want to send me an email and let me know that you're interested, and that you were part of this this virtual opportunity that we had here today, then that might get you a little bit ahead of another person. So I'd be happy to chat with you as well that way. But the easiest thing is to just apply on the website, and then I would encourage you to reach out to myself or my colleague Leah, who we will get you her information as well, just as a follow-up that you were a member of this event today.
All right. Thank you so much, panelists. I'm going to give it back to my hands.
All right. Thank you so much to our employers and volunteer. Can you hear me okay? So if we could actually, Chef Ross came on, when I'm going to ask you to maybe unpin our employers, and if you can give Chef Ross a pin for spotlight. So Chef Ross is actually from Paraquad, and he runs a culinary program, and so I would love for him to share. I'm so glad that he was able to hop on, but it's Kelly's iPhone when that's who we need to. I don't have that access. Yeah. All right, Chef Ross.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can.
Hey, I'm all over the place. Then I just found out I had to be to this meeting, and I'm on my way to another meeting because I'm at my training site. My name is Chef Kelly Ross. I teach at Paraquad. We have a 15-week program. We partnership with we partner with Salvation Army on Page, which is our training site. It's a 15-week program. Here's the key thing about our program. It's a vocational program. Once the students are complete, we will find them employment because we have an employment team. My director is Candace. We have job coaches as well. So the first 3 weeks we're at Paraquad doing the book work, things of that nature. Everything that we do is through the National Restaurant Associations. So the student has the opportunity up to make 5 to 6 certifications through the National Restaurant Association. We're part of the education program in the state of Missouri. So our program is accredited also through CARF as well as the state of Missouri educational program. We also were able to write, I can write a transcript, say if a student's finished the program and they want to take classes at Forest Park. We can do that. They can get up to 3 credit hours if they pass the certification. Once we're finished with the 3 weeks at Paraquad, we come out here with Chef Robertson, who's the director out here at the Salvation Army at the Midland site. And we work here Monday through Wednesday from 8 to noon. And going back to classes or the first 3 weeks at Paraquad, we do classes there Monday through Wednesday from 8 to noon. Once we finish the classes, we're out here for it's 12 weeks left once we get here. So we're here Monday through Wednesday, and on Thursday we meet back at Paraquad to go over different things. We have a lot of partnerships. We have students at Chase Park Plaza. We have students with the Bailey restaurants. We just started a partnership with Mercy Hospital. We have local restaurants that are partnership with us as also. So the program itself is a great program. And one thing about I like what we do with Salvation Army is that they get up to like 350 hours. So if a student never had worked before, this is really a great hands-on site. And with this site, they're learning institutional cooking, large quantity. Once we finish with the partnership with the ins and outs with the Chase, we will be going over there maybe once a week to learn more fine dining. So everything is pretty much hands-on. It's a great opportunity for the students. I've had students through the UMSL program. We've gotten students from our webpage. If you go to our webpage, Paraquad, and go on unemployment, you'll see everything about the program. So pretty much everything is hands-on. It's something I'm forgetting, but I can't think what it is. But we do a lot of projects as well on site on Thursdays once the students are comfortable with the program, once I figure out what their niche is. We also provide 2 uniforms. We have funding through PLB, VR. We have a scholarship through Panelists, and we have a couple other scholarships that we offer through the program. And also, if a student lives in the city, they can use DDR. So we do have the funding. The qualification is a student must have a high school diploma. And we stress a lot that once the student is complete, we will place them in employment. We also have a program called WIPA at Paraquad. So say if the student is receiving any kind of funding through the government and Medicaid, we can tell them how many hours they can work where it doesn't affect their income or their Medicaid. So basically, I've been with Paraquad now 6 years, knock on wood. All the students are working. We might have had 1 or 2 we had to go back out, but sometimes we get a student somewhere it doesn't work out, but we will find them something else. Once we place them in employment, so if you live in the city, we don't place you out in West County or North County. We place you somewhere in the neighborhood or close by where you can get your work. Pretty much that's it of the program in the shell. But like I say, it's a 15-week course. The first 3 weeks we're at Paraquad doing the book work. And then the last 12 weeks we're on our training site. Only requirement is a student must have a high school diploma or GED. And then they will interview with me as well as Candace, and then we will decide if the program is for the student. I think that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. But again, if you go on Paraquad website, once you go on the website, look for the employment page, and click on there, and it'll bring you right to me. If you have any questions, you can see the stories that we have. Also, we have some great stories. Like I said, I've been here 6 years, and I have students still working on their sites. Recently, we just had a student graduate. She's the lead cook over in Alton, Illinois for the Salvation Army, and she's doing a great job. And so it just depends on the student, what the student wants. So again, my name is Chef Kelly Ross. My email is kross@paraquad.org. Again, Kelly Ross at paraquad.org.
Chef,
Yeah.
question. You said a high school diploma or a GED. Would a high school equivalency
Yes.
be okay as well?
Yes, that would work as well. I also had a student one time, she was getting ready to graduate, and she was coming out of during the summertime, and we let her start the program because she was graduating the same time during the summertime, so it worked out. We're getting ready to start a session on May 27th. So if you're interested, please reach out to me, and I will reach back out to you. Either me or Candace will reach out to you, and we'll set up something where you can come out and meet with us, and we can have a conversation. Once the class starts, if you want to come out to visit the Salvation Army site, all you have to do is just let me know ahead of time. So I'll let Chef Robinson know that we're going to have visitors, and they love visitors out here. And if you want to visit Paraquad as well, just let me know. And I will come out and talk to your students if you want. If you shoot me some dates ahead of time, I'll be willing to come out to talk to you about the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. You guys have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So, this is nearing the end of our Vote Expo, but before we end, I do want to share a little information about our program. So we are the Office of Inclusive Post-Secondary Education. I've had to learn how to say that without stumbling over my words. You may know us formally as the Succeed program, but we have expanded our services and our reach to support students. During the beginning phase of the Succeed program, which is a 2-year program that provides independent living, vocational support, social skill development, and also academic support for students in a 2-year program. Students can reside on campus or they can commute to the university. We are a commuter school, and so we encourage that as well. Students participate in our 4 pillars: live, learn, work, and play. And students are in classes, elective classes, and they also receive credit courses. So you can, as a person or as a student in the Succeed program, you do have the opportunity to earn college credit towards a certificate or towards various degrees. If you are a student that is interested in matriculating into the university, we do have a linked degree program where you are a university student who may receive some supports in our live, learn, work, or play pillar during your time of seeking your or earning your degree. We also have the Link Cert and Succeed Plus programs, which are catered more around certificate earning. And so if there's an external certificate you would like to earn or an university certificate, we provide support towards earning that certificate. We know that education does help at times. It depends on the profession, but it can help with improving your chances in vocational experiences, or other career experiences. So we have various programs. We also offer tours of our program. You can have a day in the life of our program. Let's say you are interested and you want to kind of shadow a student or see exactly what your day would look like. We also have 2 camps that are coming up this summer. We usually do a camp every year, every summer, so that you get the opportunity of seeing what would that look like for me. If I'm interested in college and I'm interested in wanting to learn how to live on my own, what does that look like? It gives a week snapshot of living in the residence hall, participating in various activities and summer programming. You also can do, you can participate in our open house or program visits. So we have our website listed, and we actually encourage for students or teachers to connect with us so that we can connect with your students or schedule a tour, schedule a day in the life. So there's various ways that you can, there's various ways that you can participate in learning more about our program. I think so. There are a few questions when it comes to working in college. And so there was one question that came in: do you have to work while you're in college? You don't have to work while you're in college, but most of the time when you are a degree-seeking student, you actually might have to participate in like an internship or a volunteer program based on your degree. We encourage you to have some type of experience because that does help you once you're out of college. We know that education and experience sometimes don't always line up, but a lot of employers want you to have experience and some employers want you to have the education. And so we try to support students based on their field of interest to gain those experiences. We do provide support for on-campus employment, or if there's an external partner that you would like to work with. And as a student of our program, we provide job coaching or job development, similar to like Easterseals, Art, Paraquad, and Starkloff. So we have similar supports that we help our students with, or we support our students in while they are in our programs. We do use various assessments. So students and curriculum, students are in a vocational course throughout the entire Succeed program where they learn everything on how to get a job, how to keep that job, how to advance their job. Their students are also learning their disability rights within an employment setting. And so how to appropriately advocate, what legislation has been passed so that they are equipped with the knowledge that they need before they go out into the world of work. We also, as you see, like today, we have our Voc Expo, and we have various partners from various external partners that we do tours. We make sure that we understand what is needed for certain positions with our Voc or with our partners, and if that's going to be a good match for our students. But it is very independent, and we encourage our students to independently apply to jobs, to access employment the best way that they can. And then if there's a new partner and they need support on their job, then we come in to support them. That was a snippet of what we do at OIPE. Give me 1 second. I do believe that this will conclude our Voc Expo. We are so appreciative of you participating today and hanging in there with us. Let me make sure we don't have any last minute announcements. Give me 1 second. So thank you so much. If you have questions or need additional information, we do have a Voc Expo website that you can access. That is put in the link in the chat, but also you can feel free to reach out to us if you missed that. This is recorded and we will have slides and presentations accessible on that website. If you are a presenter today, if you do not mind, if you can please send us your presentation so that we can make sure it's uploaded on our website. If you don't have any other things, mine's clear, we may be. Thank you so much for supporting us on our very first Voc Expo. Thank you. Have a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye, Miss Maya.
Bye.